Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Economic Preppers. I'm here with Patrick. Dylan is on assignment. Actually, he's dealing with some fires that are in his area, so best of luck to him. So hopefully everything's good out in Colorado. He seems okay. He just can't get access to his studio right now because of that. But Patrick and I are going to hold down the fort. So how you doing, Patrick?
Man, I'm good. I'm just so much going on right before the Silver Symposium. Hope you guys are going to be there because I don't know if you guys have heard, we got some pretty cool people coming.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the new keynote speaker in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. If you've seen some of the videos over on Sept Pulse, please check them out over Sept Pulse on YouTube. We'll talk about that in a minute, but lots going on. And as we both know, when you get closer to an event, it just feels like you're never done. There's always something more to do to get ready. You got people coming in, you got things to set up for, you got things to be ready. But we've got two big stories we want to touch on, and then we'll talk about the event and a few other things too. So let me share my screen like usual. And we're going to talk first about this post on Twitter. This is one of the bigger crypto news events that came out this week. And Michael Saylor posted this. He said, fair value accounting is coming to Bitcoin. According to this upgrade, according to the FASB, which is some kind of accounting group. It's in the article I'll share next. The accounting rules eliminates a major impediment to corporate adoption of Bitcoin as a treasury asset. So I'll go into that. But Michael Saylor, his company, MicroStrategy, they own a lot of Bitcoin. But the accounting rules are such that it's difficult for them to look great financially to the street, which hurts their stock. But now this new rules are going to be good. So here's the story from Decrypt, which I'll share in the details of the video. The Standard Board approves a long-sought change in crypto accounting rules. I won't go into all the details. Here's FASB, the Financial Accounting Standards Board, and then more details and some statements from them. But the main takeaway is highlighted right here. The new rules will require companies to account for digital assets at fair market value, which captures frequent price fluctuations. Gains and losses will flow through the income statement. So what that means is that you'll be able to, like what's happened before, and this is what was happening with MicroStrategy, was that they buy Bitcoin and the price would go down. But when the price went down, they had to reflect that. But when the price went back up, they didn't get to account for it. So now they get to report whatever the fair market value is of Bitcoin that they own. So it's going to help their balance sheet look better. And then these rules go into effect beginning any fiscal year starting in 2025. But you can adopt the rules sooner. So I'm sure MicroStrategy will adopt them immediately because Bitcoin has gone down. So they get to redo their numbers and look much better to the street. So Patrick, what is your interpretation of how this is going to impact in MicroStrategy and other businesses?
Well, I think it'll allow other businesses to hold Bitcoin easier on their balance sheets because they're not really worried about taking the maximum downside risk that comes in a quarter and reporting it as a loss on their balance sheet. So it brings more stability to the ecosystem. More people will probably get on board and hodl it because they'll see more regulatory clarity, and they're also going to see a lot more of an incentive to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Michael Saylor, gosh, kudos to him. He spearheaded this, and he had a big win for the Bitcoin community because he's been doing this every year. He's been dollar cost averaging in. He hasn't stopped. He keeps raising more money just to be able to spend on Bitcoin. He gets the big picture. I mean, watch out Tesla, watch out Apple, watch out everybody. MicroStrategy is coming.
Yeah, the new iPhone's coming out next week, so we'll see how that impacts Apple. They've had some issues lately with bans in China and such, but we won't even get into that today, maybe next week.
Yeah.
But I think that this is not only going to help MicroStrategy, and what really helps MicroStrategy is that the board of directors that works with Michael Saylor, they get Bitcoin too. So they have adopted it. But I think it's going to really impact other companies that are looking to MicroStrategize their balance sheet. They've been reluctant to if they have a treasury of cash, they're looking for safe havens. And where do you put it? You can't put it in Bitcoin because of the accounting rules, but now you can. And that's one of the services that, Economic Preppers is starting to help with companies so that they can understand this. Now they can see that the benefit of holding Bitcoin rather than holding it in cash.
Yeah. For me, it's just going to be a huge win for the space as a whole. And we know for sure that it's going to encourage more companies to hold Bitcoin.
Right. And I think that gets started. We could see more companies doing it before the end of the year very easily because of these new accounting rules. But let's turn the page to the next story, which is something I talked about last week on our YouTube channel, which is the G20 summit. So as a brief reminder, here's the G20 picture again. And you can see you've got the normal players in the G7, US and France and Canada. Italy, Germany, UK, and Japan. But outside of that is the G20, and that's where a lot of your BRICS nations are: Brazil, Russia, India, uh, China, and South Africa, along with a few others that are getting on board, like Argentina and Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Mexico want to get in too. So, and Indonesia. So basically all the countries that want to get into the BRICS nations as part of G20. And that meeting is coming up on the 9th. So that's this weekend. And it's hosted by Prime Minister Modi in India. And he's walking the fine line between BRICS and the G20 and balancing both of their needs. And India is kind of like the Switzerland of the financial world right now. But leadership are heading over there. We have Biden is heading over there for whatever. Good luck, India. You've got, but you don't have Xi, and you probably won't have Putin going over there, but they're still going to meet. I want to put this out. Like I posted this tweet last week before I made the video, but you can check out the video there. I walked through this entire thread by Crypto King Kayer. He seven posts. He talks about what Prime Minister Modi is doing with crypto, but there's a lot of in the threads there, and the video is there too. And we'll talk about that at the end. But the big takeaway here is that the meeting is this weekend. It's coming up. It's the 9th, which is Saturday. And who knows what will come out of that. But the other interesting thing is that Monday after that meeting happens to be a very, very important date. It's the 11th of September, which is
the day before my birthday.
It is. That's the significance I was hinting on, not the fact that what happened in 2001 or 2008, but these are very significant dates on the calendar for so the first the day that the market is open after the G20 summit happens to be that Monday. So I don't know what will happen, but history does tend to repeat itself. But what's your thoughts on the G20 this weekend?
I mean, when I look at the G20 versus any other structure, to me, it's like, I don't understand why we don't put more significance on what's happening globally. We have a supply chain system that is completely fragmented and relies on other nations to complete many parts of the supply chain so that we can get the goods and services that we need over here. I mean, basic things like air conditioning units or, parts for cars. And I just don't understand how we're so narrow-minded that we don't understand the significance of a country like Egypt joining on to what's happening here. And the reality is the tide is shifting, guys. We see changes happening globally, and I think this should be of extreme significance. We should be really vigilant in watching what's happening, because we like to think that everyone is against us. And I think the media breeds this, perpetual cycle of hate, Ukrainians versus Russians and Koreans versus, at the end of the day, I would venture to say that I think if you kind of just got rid of the border and you put these two groups of people together and they all had dinner with each other, they probably love each other. Like Jeff, I'm telling you, I just don't see that these borders are as cut and dry as we think they are anymore. And I think alliances, allegiances, and resources, community networks, they're all changing globally. We're seeing it not just in our small communities, but globally. So I think it's very important that we're keeping our eye on what's happening, especially as we start to consider the value of these other fiat systems that the dollar is measured against.
Yeah, I was actually just trying to find Ray Dalio's Changing World Order, but I think you hit on a lot of key points there. Like in the last 20, 30 years, they outsourced manufacturing out of the United States, and then we became this giant global economy. But now with all these new trade partnerships, the trade routes are being impacted, and with Egypt and the Suez Canal, that's very important. And we just the pass to Africa and those rare earth minerals in Asia and Africa that we can't really get in the U.S. or we choose not to mine them. So the U.S. is basically the U.S. was dominant 60, 70 years ago because they were the manufacturing hub. They made everything for the world. Then they outsourced everything because our labor rates got too high. So in a global world, like now everybody they're trying not to they're trying to say everything is fine when it's not. And those of us who look at the big picture and the global picture can see that. So that's why we look at things like the G20 and the BRICS nations and see what's going on there, because other countries aren't happy with the way that the U.S. is pushing their agendas, especially financially, all over the planet. So there's a lot to be concerned about. And that's something we're going to talk a lot about as I transition very nicely here at the Silver Symposium. And it's just a couple weeks away. It's roughly 3 weeks until we're going to be in Las Vegas, September 29th to October 1st. And I know, Patrick, that probably scares you when I say it's only 3 weeks
Oh
away.
man, it's like 22 days. I'm leaving in about 20 days, and I'm not ready. I'm not even close to ready. I have a lot of work left to do before I'm ready for that event.
I think we all do, but we're here to
I have
support
at
you.
least another 20 pounds of squat I need to get to fill my pants correctly. Like if
That's
I can't
the
fill my
first-
new suit, then I'm going to have a real problem on stage. But, seriously, it's just going to be a lot of fun. G. Edward Griffin.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Jeff, how can I not say that word?
So
I don't know if we put him on the site yet.
He's not on the site yet, but he's up on YouTube under Sat Pulse. You can see right there, G. Edward Griffin talking to our host with the most here, Patrick Hakeem, talking with G. Edward Griffin now. G. Edward Griffin is going to be the new keynote speaker. He agreed to appear. It was up and down because I think he has an anniversary that weekend, but he's coming out to Vegas. And get your tickets to see him. He doesn't make many appearances anymore. The gentleman he's in advanced age. I'll say it nicely, but he's really sharp.
Dude, that guy is sharp. Like
he's very.
I'm telling you, right before our show, I got together and I was like, "Hey, so you tell me, what do you want to talk about?" He's like, "I got a list of 6 things that I wrote down before the show that I want to get through. I'm going to talk about."
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. I didn't even have dude. I had to record the intro afterwards because okay, we're going to get going. I'm going to start going and we'll go. And all of a sudden he just started going, "Hi, I'm G. Edward Griffin." I was like, well, it looks like he's leading the show. Why would I think any other thing, right? Go ahead. I just shut up and let him go because that guy is the OG. I mean, he's really a fantastic legend in the space. I remember even when we started with the Bitcoin Ben community where you and I originally met, this is exactly what happened. We got to see that there are people who bring you along in the conversation, and you end up knowing that they're just respected in the community. They've been saying this for a long time. And when you look back and you say, this is like the exact opposite of Jim Cramer, he got it right every time, so that's the kind of stuff where you look at. And as we continue to go to these events in the community, it's like, even my buddy Andre, you met Andre when we were at the Litecoin Summit, and you saw my eyes as I lit up when he brought out that amazing, you remember that red rooster?
Yeah, I was just going to mention the red rooster.
My eyes lit up, and I didn't know who he was, but you remember what I told you? I was like, dude, that guy, he knows stuff that I want to know. He was having Bobby Lee sign this red rooster, and I had, in the physical space, I'd heard about it. I know my partner had bought one before, and we'd had some stuff, but I don't know anything about it. And when I sat down with Andre, he introduced me to a whole new world. Something that we should make a Disney movie out of. Well, no, something better than Disney, but at least with a theme song. I mean, it was a beautiful world when you talk about physical cryptos, and props to Andre. I appreciate you, AB Crypto, if you guys follow him on Twitter, but he posts a lot of content about what it is and what the differences are and what the scam coins are and how to avoid these things, and taught me what I needed to learn and actually helped me design the Sat Pulse coin that you guys all see. So he really is, some of the big inspiration and designer behind this coin, and he'll be there at this event too. You could talk to him. The guys who are involved in all these coins, they'll all be there. This is going to be a crazy event.
So to get the audience up to speed a little bit, and there's a video, I'll share it. Let me share it real quick. Let me put it. It's up on Economic Preppers, and it's about physical Bitcoin. And Patrick and I sat down talking about physical Bitcoins and physical wallets, because one of the arguments that people have regarding coins or Bitcoin, is that it's not tangible. But you have these collectibles where you can take physical Bitcoin and put it onto a device such as one of the Ballet wallets. So the Ballet wallet now has it's a unique device with Bitcoin on it, but then you can have even more unique things with designed coins made out of silver or made out of gold, and you have Bitcoin that it's on the device as well. So you have the merger of the two. So you have this collectible, this rare item. So many were minted, so many are available. For those who collect silver and gold, it's like numismatics. It's like certain types of pandas or from China, or certain years of Carson City silver dollars, those kinds of things. But things that are rare, things that are hard to get a hold of, limited edition. But you have a physical representation that's got Bitcoin on it, and you can actually give it to somebody and it has value on it. So you can actually do peer-to-peer transactions with Bitcoin off chain, and by handing them something like this or one of the coins that we're going to look at in a moment that Patrick helped design. And let me just put that up on the screen now because we're talking about it. So, and here it is. So here's the Sept Pulse collectible. We're gonna have better pictures of it than this, but you can see it better. It's silver in the center. It's a 1/2 ounce of silver with a brass ring around it. You have a nice, beautiful
Jeff,
hologram.
go to thatpulsecoin.com.
Satpulsecoin.com.
Yep.
All right.
That was probably from our pre-launch page, but you guys should see some cool stuff done now.
There we go. So now we got good pictures here. So let me zoom in here a bit. So there's the coin. And you got the logo, the Sept Pulse, which also matches stock pulse, and by happenstance, silver and with a brass ring around it, 1/2 ounce of silver. And how much Bitcoin is on these again?
1,000 bits.
1,000 bits. So there's 1 million bits in a Bitcoin. So this is 1,000th of a Bitcoin. So about $30 of Bitcoin is on there, give or take.
100,000 sats.
Yeah, 100,000 sats. And it's a really beautiful design, and it's a collectible. And you have these physical collectibles that are out there where you actually have a physical object with Bitcoin on it. So the objection of Bitcoin's intangible, what if the internet goes down? That's gone. If you could scan, like you could scan one of these, you could scan one of those, or it's written on there and it says it's got this much amount of Bitcoin on it and it's this much silver. So it has value. So you can give that to someone and say, here's something that has value, like giving them a silver coin. So you can give them a silver coin like in the old days, or you can give them the new modern gold and one of these. So there's lots to be doing. But we're going to be at the event. We're going to talk about this. We'll explain it all. We don't want to get too deep into this. There's the other video you can go watch, as I pointed out. But let me just go back to the event real quick. We've got tons of speakers. We've got, David Morgan's going to be there, an Economic Ninja, Andy Shackman, lots of other people there. We're still filling out the agenda. We don't even have G. Edward Griffin on there yet because Patrick just locked him down this week, which is fantastic. So the agenda is up here under the agenda page. You can see the exhibitors, the activities. It's a 3-day event. Friday night, you can see that Patrick's going to kick it off, and then you've got a hidden legend right here with Elias, who wrote the book literally on collectibles for Bitcoin. And then we have a workshop for economic preppers and Ballet Vault, and that's going to be there. And we just had over in Sept Pulse, I believe, we had Bobby Lee and Patrick talking about Ballet crypto and the wallets themselves. So that's part of the inspiration of that design was like physical versions of crypto. And then again, as you pointed out when you talked to Andre, these if you don't know what a red rooster is, but it's a physical collectible. Was that Litecoin?
The red rooster was Bitcoin.
Okay. So, but yeah, there's
is it? I'll have to bring Andre on. That guy is the pro. Like he's the guy when I have a question, I call him. This is actually his personal book, and he's the one who sent this to me. He's highlighted all the stuff that I needed to learn, and I studied this book just to try to figure out how to make a coin that would make Elias proud when we were on stage. And the reality is it takes a team of people who knew what they were doing, and we had a lot of great people involved in making this a really awesome, safe, trust coin that we are really proud of. It's minted in a really high grade. These coins should all grade out pretty nice, and we expect it to do really well as a limited run.
Yeah, I can't really find a picture of it right now, but we will definitely get that. Oh, here's one. Okay. So let's see. So let me share the screen one more time. Here's a picture of the red rooster, a Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's loaded with 5,000 sats is what it looks like.
So there's a red rooster, and you can see it kind of looks like a poker chip. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Oh, it is a poker chip. But that one was like a special release back, and Bobby Lee, I think, was actually he was actually part of BTCC at that time, which is why Andre was there having him sign it, because it's a great. There's so much value in these physical items, and it's not just the value. To me, it's just really cool. I really love the idea of having something different than the physical numismatic coins out there that are gold or silver or whatnot. To me, this is something that it's part of history. In 2017, I know where I was mining Bitcoin. 2017, the hash rate of Bitcoin was like 10% of what it is now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody loved Bitcoin back then, and it was really a niche of people. Like you had to be deep in the tech when at the early days to working and mining Bitcoin and such. But when people like that They were passionate people. They were really passionate people back then. And then they loved
Yeah.
the collectibles. And that's how you went up with designs like the Red Rooster and many others that you'll learn about from Elias. So please come on out and join us at the event.
And there will be some of those physical collectibles there for sale too, not just the stuff we're making, but I know a lot of people from the physical community are coming because there's going to be graders there and auction houses there, and really people come to look at these valuable items. So there'll even be people there with like Leolanas and First Bits and, you know, maybe even some Satoris, just really cool pieces of history that you really won't find. It's very, very hard to find them. You're talking like 1 of 20, 1 of 1 pieces, 1 of 5 that just don't exist, and they are selling for thousands of dollars.
So if you want to come on out and see this and get a free ounce of silver that comes along with your ticket, the link is in the description below. It's only $89 for the ticket. You get to meet G. Edward Griffin. Bring a copy of the Creature from Jekyll Island. He'll probably sign it for you, more than likely. And it'll be a great event. I mean, there's like the Creature of Jekyll Island.
For you guys, just so you know, we haven't announced this yet, but for you guys who are watching us on Economic Preppers, there will be a special luncheon that you can go and enjoy with G. Edward Griffin. So we're doing a lunch with G. Edward Griffin that you guys, I mean, it's going to be really limited space. So don't think that you're going to have plenty of time to do it. It's not many seats available. If you see it drop, get on it fast. Miles and Franklin is just jumping on and helping us support this. Andy Scheckman, bro, thank you for sponsoring this opportunity to get with G. Edward Griffin and just hang out with him. So this is going to be an amazing opportunity. And with all the junk going on in this economy right now and masks and vaccines and stuff coming back, I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to get together and have a fun event like this for a while.
Yeah,
and G. Edward Griffin, you know, I don't know how many times you'll be able to see him speak again. I mean, this guy's, you know, he's been around and he doesn't want to travel very much anymore. You can hear in the video, I had to basically beg him to come to our event.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he travels from, but he doesn't travel and speak.
Thousand Oaks, California.
Okay, so I know that I think he's done a couple events for Jekyll Island or
the Red Pill event.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about all he does. So this is a rare opportunity to meet him, and Las Vegas is an easy place to get to. So if you ever want to meet him, and I don't know when his next appearance is going to be, so if you get an opportunity to meet G. Edward Griffin and get his autograph and hear him speak, I mean, listen to the interview. The guy's sharp as a tack. It's definitely worth watching. But there's one more thing that we've got so many things going on, and Patrick has done a lot of work in getting all these great speakers and all these interviews. There's one more thing that we want to share with you guys, and this is it's a certain website that you've been working on.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about that website. So there's the event again, but let's jump over to this, which is setpulse.io. So Patrick, I'll steer, you drive, you tell me what you want to look at and share with the people.
Hey, so it's real simple. I just put together what I thought was the most valuable information that I use when I'm making decisions. And to me, the first thing that's most important is right at the top. I want to know the metrics and the health of Bitcoin. To me, hash rate is number one. I always want to know what the hash rate's at. I like to know what the hash price is right now. That is how much Bitcoin you're making per pentahash per day. So for example, for me, when I was making Bitcoin back in the day, the amount of Bitcoin we were making per pentahash was a lot higher, right? Like I'm talking almost like, gosh, 20 times higher than what it is right now. And on my facility at the time, though, our maximum hash rate, I think we maxed out on our first facility at 2017 at 50 pentahash or 49 pentahash, right around there. So when you try to understand how much the price of Bitcoin is and how much Bitcoin you're making for the hash rate that you're bringing, that's a huge metric for people like us who try to understand the market cycle of Bitcoin and what's going on with the health of Bitcoin. And then, of course, you've got the average difficulty adjustment up there, which you'll see that happen when a lot of miners go offline. That means that the average block time is actually higher than 10 minutes. So it's reducing the difficulty for the miners so they can solve the block a little quicker and reduce it down to the average, which makes the miners more profitable. And last week we had a huge difficulty adjustment, which allowed us to be a whole lot more profitable, which is what you're seeing there.
So let me interject here and just explain pentahash for people who don't know. That's a big number. Pentahash, it goes gigabit, terabit, penta, I believe. And it's so 1,000 gigabits is a terabit.
So we call them hashes. So it's a tera hash. So
correct. I'm just giving them a scale. So 1,000 tera. So 1,000 tera hash is a pentahash. So it's
Yeah.
a million times bigger than a gig. So
Yeah.
people know gig. It's kind of like you get so many gigs on your phone or your laptop.
So my largest facility that we had ran at a third of an exahash, which is
And that's another one.
360 pentahashes roughly.
Yeah. So that's that's up there. So just
Well, yeah, it's a third of an exahash. So we would have been 1/3 of that 388 at the time. But when we were mining, we were 1/3 of 30. So when we were mining back in the day, we were a pretty significant hash rate for what we were doing. That's why it's so funny to watch it now. When you hear people saying, oh, Bitcoin's dying, I'm going, guys, the hash rate, we're sitting here at 388 terahash. Miners are coming online. They're the old miners that can't profit. They're going offline. You see those little dips. They sell them and it comes back up. That's the only thing they're doing. They're putting more miners on every single day. And then
let's talk
going
more
down.
about this.
Yeah, the price of food, the price of corn, the price of beef, whatever you want to look at the price of eggs, the price of orange juice. It's all there, but valued in Satoshic value. I'll take something that we all like talking about. Let's talk about silver, for example, as we're talking the Silver Symposium. Go down to the bottom.
So yes, before we do, here's some stock prices and here's some crypto.
Yeah, even Bitcoin. I value everything in Satoshic value. Let's say
so all these prices,
for example.
All these prices are in Bitcoin. They're all in sats, correct?
They're all in sats. That's correct. So if you look at Litecoin, for example, click on the Litecoin like the Litecoin chart, and you'll see the Litecoin chart pop up. And you can even actually look in the last 5 years. So if you look on the 5-year chart, what does this tell you? It tells you in relation to Bitcoin, what the most opportune time is to stack more sats. Right. It also tells you when the best time to spend sats is for Litecoin. And this is the kind of things you talk about when you understand Satoshic value. Jeff, go back one page real quick. And I want to bring our attention to something that actually matters to a lot of our community, which is the average price of a home. If you go and look at the average price of a home, it takes a very different picture for you guys, because the median home price right now, sure, it costs a little bit more in Bitcoin today because Bitcoin's down. Right. But if you look over 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years, the big picture, it's crazy.
Yeah, zoom out. It always takes less Bitcoin to buy the same house. So when you start valuing houses in dollars, it paints a different picture than when you start thinking as someone who stacks in sats. Because when you stack in sats, your purchasing power increases over time. So to me, the narrative of like Bitcoin against X isn't good. We're changing that right now. We're stopping the valuation of asset classes in dollars. We're not going to measure it in the traditional way that they want us to do it. We're going to measure it in the most sound way possible, in a way that is an actual balance of value, where you know that what you're balancing it against cannot change. There will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever.
And you can see how fast it updates here. This is, and to give you an idea, this is roughly 17 Bitcoin, 16.9.
Yeah, you can see the prices are active. We've got really good data feeds coming in right off the Explorer, and we get a lot of our feeds from other APIs as well that are giving us real-time updates. So you can see the difference over time. Everything on the right side is red. Why is it all red? There are a few years. Jeff, go up again to the cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, there was a couple that did better than Bitcoin.
Polygon, remember, Matic went on a huge run.
Ethereum did well, Polygon, and the Theta.
Which shows the narrative as well, that investing in altcoins can give you potential upside greater than Bitcoin, which is why we invest in some of these altcoins, because every once in a while, they will outperform Bitcoin. And when they do, these are the kind of tools that help you realize when you should, not financial advice, but using this as a tool to help you determine what your right exit strategy is.
Yes. So you pick out the investment assets that you like, and you track them here and say what's up versus Bitcoin, and you can swap them accordingly. But here, this site gives you prices in Bitcoin, so they're all baselined to the best performing asset for the last dozen years, which is Bitcoin. So you got all these other indexes. You have oils up here. You have all these different currencies, and see how they have done.
But also, take a look at this, Jeff. Right, this is a fun one. Look at the price of fiat currencies. What do you see if you look at the price over a week? You can actually see which currency, which fiat is deteriorating worse when you measure it up to Bitcoin. Yeah. So the idea of, well, this coin is doing better because of the DXY, we're not going to measure it against the DXY anymore. We're going to measure everything against Bitcoin.
Nice. So again, the site is brand new, And obviously, Patrick would love to hear a little bit about feedback as well.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of bugs we're working out, guys. It's small, it's in-house. We're doing it just with a few resources. There is no budget. It's just me and one other friend, and we're just kind of get it together. But we got a lot of great community feedback already helping us make it better. So if you got any ideas, let us know. We know one big change we're going to add is we're going to put on the Big Mac index. Apparently that's a big deal.
Yeah. And then we're also going to put there's going to be a couple of tweaks there here and there, but you get the gist of it. I mean, it's 90%, it's 100% accurate. 90% of what you need is there. And you can't find it on most other places. So it's all under one site, under one roof, and it's free right now. It's a completely free resource. Go out and check it out, satpulse.io, and we'll put it again in the description. But like I said, we've been very busy. I know it's been kind of a slow summer for crypto, not a lot of news, not a lot of things going on, but this is the time for people like us that are deep in this space. We dig into things, we get these events going. Economic Preppers is a sponsor of the Silver Symposium. We're going to be there. Dylan and I are going to be there. We'll be at the booth when we're not on stage. And obviously Patrick will be on the stage. And when he takes a breather, he might swing on by. And I would imagine there's going to be a crowd pack circling around him most of the time. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Don't say that. Like, that's so weird. I wouldn't even know what to do.
It happens. It's happened to us before.
You're usually there to rescue me when that happens. Like, who am I going to look for now? Like,
I think
I'm going to have to figure that out. That's a good point. I need I
think you need like a party popper. So you pop it when you need me to come rescue you, and I can see it up in the air, and like, okay, Patrick needs a rescue.
Yeah, that's not going to be awkward at all. Hey, 1 second.
Well, I was trying to think of what else.
I'm sorry. Patrick's got to go. Like, pop. I don't think you have enough poppers. I hope it's. No, I'm really.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. But Patrick's going to be pulled in 5 different directions at the event, so please understand that. But there will be an opportunity for you guys to say hi to him. There's going to be a lot of people there. We're talking like there's probably over 1,000 people that's going to be there that weekend, coming in and out all throughout. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Forget,
like people like our real community is coming too. Like Litecoin Lisa, Bitcoin Ben. We've got like a lot of our friends, like our magical internet friends. They're all coming. This is the time to get together, have a drink, have some fun, relax. Because I'm telling you guys, we're inviting people who are going to share information that will help enlighten the way you act and the way you think and the way you invest and the way you support each other. That's the whole goal.
And even Jack from Nobody Special is going to be there. He even said, come on up and say hi. Like, we all want to meet you. It's just a matter of the time that we have. We would love to say hi to everybody. I'm just going to try and say hi to everybody. Come on by the booth and say hi to me anytime you want. But understand, we're going to get pulled in several directions. We want to talk to you. If we can't talk to you, we apologize, but we're going to be there as much as we can. And there are going to be lots of other people to talk to that are like-minded with you as well. So we've met, like Patrick and I met at these events. You meet people at these events, they become lifelong friends because you already know that you value some of the same things already. So you've got that foundation to build from. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody in Vegas. So we're just going to wrap up the show. Any last comments, Patrick?
No, guys, just, keep us in your thoughts and prayers with a new baby at home. I am dead tired as I'm trying to get all of this done, but
yes,
I can tell you I'm honestly enjoying what I'm doing. I feel like we're putting together something that any of you guys who know me, who know the things I value, you'd be proud of what I'm bringing to you guys. It's going to be just a really wonderful time together. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you come. I will be tight on time, but I will definitely make time for my friends who are there because you guys are the whole reason why I like doing this. So if I don't stop and slow down to smell the roses, it's not going to be something that I'm going to enjoy. So we'll make time to hang out. Please come, stop by, say hi, have fun. And
looking forward to it as well. And I just working with Patrick all summer on this event, supporting him. And I was there when Jackson was born. And I can testify to, I've had the little ones too, but Patrick has outpaced me by twice as many kids now, but he's doing a great job. He's helping his community. He's helping build things. And you can see by the website, by the event that he's put together and championed and now emceeing, he's going to be tired, but he's going to be there and he's going to be high energy. He's going to be the guy that's going to be bouncing all around like Tigger everywhere. He lives for these kinds of events. He's fantastic at them. And I'm looking forward to being there and meeting all you guys as well. So with all that said, I'm going to leave it there for now. And I want you guys to be prepared and not scared. And we will see you next time. Take care.